And Alyssa Orange meeting us at the halfway point here on Halftime on this Tuesday on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Alyssa, appreciate you joining us here in the middle of our show. How are you today?
Doing well. Enjoying the rain and the thunder that we got going on here at my house.
About time. You got all your plants outside? You got it ready to go?
Well, yeah. Well, my sister and brother-in-law are in from Seattle, so I thank them for the weather.
They brought it with them, didn't they? Yes.
They did.
They haven't seen the sun in Seattle in 10 years, and now we finally get some...
They saw it yesterday. We gave them some Arkansas heat, and they gave us some rain, so it was a trade-off.
Interesting. I want to play you this soundbite from yesterday's press conference with the Arkansas players. And this isn't about... it was the cornerbacks that met. It was Hudson Clark and Malik Chavis that met yesterday with the media. But a lot of the questions that are going to defensive players right now are about wide receivers and specifically about Matt Landers. I want to play this for you and then get some reaction.
Speed. He's very long, very good guy. He can run and he can catch. So the deep ball, like 50-50 ball, yeah, I like Matt.
Matt's a good guy. He can create a lot of separation. He's got pretty big strides, and so he's definitely a new type of receiver we've seen this fall camp. So he's been good for us.
Some people are a little nervous, Alyssa, that Arkansas won't be able to stretch the field without Treylon Burks. But when I read about Jaden Hazelwood, when I remember what I watched from Keytron Jackson last year and that speed, and from what the guys are saying about Matt Landers, I think you might have more deep threats now than you had last year.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that we've kind of touched on this before. Treylon Burks is a talent, and I know that Kendall Browse has called him a once-in-a-generation kind of talent, but then you automatically panic like we don't have that anymore, and they still have talent in that wide receiver group, and you just named those guys that I think pop at the top of people's heads that are going to be good, and what you want to hear. There's going to be a wide receiver spot, and that's a little scary. If you're used to a guy like Treylon Burks and watching him play, but I feel like right now the problem might be is there is almost too much talent with this wide receiver group, and how do you spread it out and how do you utilize it to the best of its ability? Because unlike last year, it was Treylon Burks, sometimes Davion Warren, Tyson Morris here and there, but now you've got so many weapons. It's never a bad thing when you have too many wide receivers, in my opinion. So I love hearing that, and I love hearing about the speed because Arkansas needs some of that too.
And it's a feeling like there's maybe a better group of wide receivers overall than last year, and some of the younger players can take a big step forward. Trey Knox, pass-catching tight end. Malik Hornsby is going to get plenty of balls coming his way at some time. This is a team, though, Alyssa, that's built on the run and run first. And sometimes 2/3 of their offensive plays are running plays. Do you expect that of course it's going to all have to do with how the defense lines up against them, but it feels like they're built a little bit right now to throw more often than last year, even with this great set of running backs?
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely more balanced than it was last year where you depend. I just muted myself. Sorry. And so, I think it's a lot more balanced. I'm interested, as they sit there and they say Rocket Sanders right now is the running back running with the first team, and you don't really know what's going on with Dominique Johnson, and so I definitely think with some question marks in that backfield, how does AJ Green looking at practice? Guys that you have back there, that you're going to have to maybe rely on that pass game, especially maybe in this first game against Cincinnati, but you still kind of iron out some question marks there in the backfield.
Mm-hmm. On the other side of the ball, Alyssa, defensive backs coach Bowman talked yesterday to the media along with a few DBs, and him talking about the importance of the nickel player, which is going to be Miles Slusher, and how much he's going to have to contribute in that role. Is Miles Slusher going to be a more important player to this defense than Jalen Catalon? Oh.
You asked the sort of question that she hung up on.
So bad.
She hated that question.
Is that bad of a question? I thought it was. I mean, I didn't knock it out of the park. It wasn't the greatest question of all time, Alyssa, but I don't think you needed to be rude.
Yeah, usually it's a walk-off answer, not a walk-off question, but there you go.
And I know I'm not the best interviewer in the world, but it didn't have to just hang up on me, Alyssa.
How much of that did you hear, Alyssa?
I don't think that was me, but might be the weather. Let's blame the rain, okay?
Okay. Did you hear the question at all?
To answer your question, I think you're asking me about Miles Flusher and just his value to the defense, yeah?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, so, even Jalen Catalon has mentioned that, there are guys in this secondary who have come a long way from when they got there, and then there are guys like Miles Flusher where right away you just knew that this kid had it. And we heard about that when he was recruited and came in last year. But he's talented. He has good instincts. He's someone that's very similar to Jalen Catalon, where they just have a knack for where the football is going to be. They can read offenses really well. So he has a huge future ahead of him. But if you have two guys like Jalen Catalon and Miles Flusher on the field, it's beneficial for both. So is he going to be a big part? Absolutely, because I think he takes some focus away from Jalen Catalon. We know that guys, we're not going to target Jalen Catalon because it's hard to throw on his side of the field and not get it intercepted. Well, now you got a Miles Flusher who is also on the other side, and so it's just going to bring so much more value. And I think we're going to see Jalen Catalon, if it's even possible, playing better than he did last year before he was injured, and we're going to see the kind of talent and the speed that Miles Flusher has as well.
If you can have both type of performance out of those guys, it's definitely going to create some trouble for some offenses in the SEC. That's for sure. On to the basketball. As the team is playing in Europe. Do you have Flow Sports? Have you got somebody's account? How are you and everybody at Pittsburgh Nation going to keep up with it?
We signed up for Flow Sports. We do it during baseball when they played down at Round Rock this year, and I did the 7-day week trial, I believe. But we signed up for it at work, kindly get reimbursed for that, so I appreciate KNWA helping us out there. But we're watching it at work. I can't watch it from home, so I've got to be at work to watch this basketball team. But I'm looking forward to going in there when I finally get back in the office and watching some recordings. Man, I haven't been in the office in a week and a half, guys, because I was in Whitehall last week, and then I took today and yesterday off to spend time with my family. So I still do work there, if anyone's wondering, but I just haven't been there in a while.
Yeah, have fun with the whole family thing this month, Alyssa, because that's coming to an end once football season starts. Yeah, especially you and Saw together.
What? So we're headed. I'm now going Saturday. We're going up to Kansas City. My dad and my stepmom are flying in because the Dodgers are in town. So
the hot Dodgers, huh? 6 wins in a row.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and I'm going to get someone in our group to eat that barbecue Reese's peanut butter sandwich that they just debuted.
Tell me this again. What's this? Have
you not seen this thing?
No, I've not seen this sandwich.
The Royals have unveiled this barbecue sandwich with Reese's peanut butter cups mixed in it.
Now, I love Reese's peanut butter cups, but I eat them a very particular way, and on a sandwich is not one of them. I can't do it because then I can't eat all the chocolate off of the peanut butter and then eat the peanut butter just by itself. I can't do that.
Do you
sandwich,
dissect every candy there, Phil? Is there anything that you will literally just bite into and eat normal?
If a candy is deconstructible, I will deconstruct it. That's just how it is. Maybe I can deconstruct the sandwich and go from there. Hey, by the way, must release the starting 5. I don't know what the score is of Arkansas versus Valencia Selección, but I do know that 3 freshmen are in the starting 5, and one of them is Anthony Black, one of them is Joseph Pinion, Barry Dunning Jr. getting a start, Ricky Council, and Treylon Burks are the starters. We knew Nick Smith probably isn't playing this entire trip because of the finger injury, but I think we're going to see. I think out of those 5, Black, Council, and Brazil end up as guys that are probably starting 5 once you get into SEC play.
I think so. I think you add Nick Smith Jr. there as well, and then see where Jordan Walsh is come SEC play as well. And then obviously, you have Devo Davis, who is your veteran on this team. Where does he equate? So it's just so many questions. But I think Muss kind of made a statement with that starting five. Even though he says it doesn't mean, it might not mean anything, it definitely does.
If I'm going just by pure athleticism and what we've seen on some of the highlights of practice that Muss has tweeted out, what was the biggest dunk of last year? I mean, I think of some of the dunks that Daniel Gafford threw down a few years ago. I think of Mike Qualls throwing it down against Kentucky to finish the game. Devo Davis at the end of the Auburn game last year. Council is going to have he's going to have a mixtape of all of his dunks, just going by what we hear from the players and seeing on Muss's social media. Ricky Council sounds like a highlight waiting to happen.
Yeah, you can't call him Mr. Walk on Air because that is Michael Qualls, but I am sure that we're going to have a dunk count for Ricky Council like we had a charge count for Jalen Williams, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough finding ways to get everybody the ball in this situation. It's like the same as this wide receiver room, and not to put it on the same level necessarily, but you got to find a way. It's not necessarily like to keep the players happier, but it's a matter of you have an incredible amount of talent in that. I think in that wide receiver room, probably more so for basketball. For now, they're going to play more than 7-8 on this trip, probably. But as the season goes on, I guess I'd be surprised. If Eric Musselman sticks to that 7-player rotation that we've seen over the past 2 years.
Yeah, Mike Irwin and I talked about this, and Mike very much is like, there's no way that he's going to stick to what he's done the past couple of years, and he's got too much talent on this bench. But it's also the way that he's always coached. So I'm very intrigued as to what he does. Because do you just not play the talent that you have because you do only play 7-8 guys, or do you adjust your own system to you're playing 12, 11 guys a night, and guys aren't getting the huge minutes like they have in the past, but you're winning ball games and you're distributing the football or the basketball and the minutes with it. And so I'm just really curious because, again, he's either going to continue to do it the way and the style that he's played in historically that we've seen Eric Musselman, even going back to Nevada, and the way that he coaches, or he is going to adjust to this team because he has brought in so much talent. I think we all hope it's the latter, but I'm just really curious to see exactly how he adapts to the roster that he has this year.
Hey, last thing before we let you go. Olivia Newton-John passed away yesterday. Grease, how many times did you watch it, and did you practice singing to any of these songs?
Oh, of course. I don't know, practice singing because I'm terrible, but have the Grease soundtrack. Loved Olivia Newton-John. There was sad news yesterday when I heard that at the age of 73. So that she'll be missed for sure. But Grease is a staple, and it was growing up, and definitely going to have to maybe show Finn.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. Bet online, where the game starts.